Hey everyone, I'm Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And we watched a movie.
Yes, we sure did.
It's called Coming to America.
With
Coming to America. The sequel to Coming to America.
It's a little confusing.
To America. Coming to America. It's the same name, only now the 2 is a 2.
It's basically the same movie, really.
Well, sure it is. So Coming to America came out 33 years ago.
That's a long time.
Oh my gosh, it is a lifetime ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Now here we are.
Now here we are, 33 years later.
33 years later, and they decided to get the gang back together.
And they did. They're all
Oddly
here.
enough, no one was doing anything.
I know. How did they track down Louie Anderson?
He had a great show for a while, and we watched it.
True.
So
yeah.
You just have a poor memory.
Okay.
Anyways, so Coming to America, the 33-year-old Eddie Murphy Arsenio Hall movie.
Yep. The Arsenio Hall.
As if the man needs an introduction. So we watched it last night in order to prepare for today's big release, because it is now available today, March 5th, 2021, exclusively on Amazon Prime. And I'm glad we did watch it, because have I seen it before?
It's hard to say.
I assumed that I had, just like, as I largely assume I've seen a lot of the movies you try to make me watch, and I'm like, no, we've seen that recently. And you're like, oh, have we? And I'm like, yeah. We just watched that like the other day. You don't remember?
Aha! Yeah. No wonder I think my memory is so bad. Because it is, in a different way than I thought.
Sean, it's called gaslighting. Respect it. So in the first movie, Eddie Murphy plays Akeem. He plays him in this movie as well. But anyways, in the first movie, he plays an African prince named Akeem, who is supposed to get married to a specific woman that his father, the king, has picked out for him. But he decides to go to America to find his own wife, a love match.
That's right.
And he does.
And he does. Lisa.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's, 90 minutes of utter hilarity. Rated R hilarity.
Yeah, as they all were. Eddie Murphy's movies back in the 80s.
Yes, not this one.
No.
He's toned it down.
Yeah, although he's toned it back up from 20 years ago when everything he did was PG.
Yes. That is true. So Akeem is the prince of Zamunda, soon to be king. His father, King Joffer, played by James Earl Jones, then and now. So great to see him.
Yes, it is.
He plays an old dying king in this movie, but he seems too vital still to play that.
That's true.
He seemed that on the screen. I thought, he looks too well for this.
Yeah, but in fairness, he does seem to have just picked his spot of when he's going to die.
That is true. The king is just done.
Yeah.
Anyways. So he decides to throw himself a funeral, but he knows that if he dies and leaves his son to be king, there could be a lot of unrest in the kingdom, because Akeem, he is married to Lisa. They have been together this whole time, don't you worry. They have 3 daughters, 2 of whom at least are grown. One is growing, but no male heirs. And in Zamunda, only a boy can inherit the throne.
Yeah, it seems backwards. It seems as backwards as in the first movie, Akeem thinking that he had to marry for obligation as opposed to love.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, even the Queen of England, that stodgy old bird, got on train, and before Prince George was born, said if it's a girl, she can be queen. Which you would think a queen would be sympathetic to that plight, and she did make it a rule. To her credit, George turned out a boy, so far. Apparently, Zamunda has not followed suit, hasn't heard that there's some updating needing to be done. Probably should have taken some notes from its next door neighbor, Wakanda.
Yeah.
It seems to have a lot in common with Wakanda. And I thought there were Wakanda vibes in the first one from 33 years ago.
Yeah.
Never mind today, when actually it was Ryan Coogler who first said he wanted to bring a sequel forward. But Eddie Murphy didn't really like the direction Ryan Coogler wanted to go in, with Michael B. Jordan, of course, starring.
Of course.
So, yeah, they went in another direction. And yet, I felt strong Wakanda vibes from this movie. So, okay, King Joffer is dead or dying. Akeem is about to be king. The king says, surprise! Just, to get ahead of this unrest thing. Because General Izzi, I don't know, played by Wesley Snipes. And he's jazzing his way through this film, let me tell you. To stop him from coming in and staging a coup, because this guy is from Nextdoria, and he is really, pushing things, pushing buttons. He wants in. So to try to keep things from happening, they've tracked down Akeem's previously unknown bastard son in America. They really throw that word around a lot, bastard. I think we stopped using it some time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, to describe
right.
this scenario.
A child out of wedlock.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what you missed in the first movie, and this film does give us some flashbacks to the first movie, including a bit of a setup for what happened here.
Well, it has to, because it's not actually, there's no basis for this in the first movie whatsoever.
No, there is not. And to be fair, Akeem has no memory of this happening. But apparently, 33 years ago, he met Leslie Jones, had a happy, good time. A child was born.
Yep.
A male child. Thank the Lord. So Akeem goes off to America with Semi in tow. So Semi, of course, is Arsenio Hall, his
best friend's
royal hanger-on. Yeah. Off they go to America to retrieve bastard son, because he is the solution to all of their problems. Finally, he will have a male heir, and everything is good again.
Right.
So, surprise! If only somebody would show up at my door and say, surprise, you're a prince. And I would be like, okay. I have been preparing for this my whole life, pretty much. So Lavelle is the son, played by Jermaine Fowler. He takes it pretty well. Agrees to go back to Africa with the man who he now believes is his father. Takes his mom with him. And Uncle Reem, played by Tracy Morgan. Go back to the palace in Zamunda. And let me tell you, Mom and Uncle Reem, they're not going to class up the joint, that's for sure. They're the crass relatives that the royal family, every family needs them, right? Every family needs them.
Interesting.
Now the royal family of Zamunda has them. Great. Problem solved. General Izzi shows up. He's got a daughter he wants Prince Akeem's son to marry, because wouldn't that
just work out?
Yeah.
Then they could be united, these two neighboring kingdoms.
Mm-hmm. And she's pretty sexy. So at first Lavelle is like, all right. But then he sets his eyes on the palace barber. Mirembe has got more, though, than just sex appeal. She's got...
the whole package.
Oh, the whole package. Oh, so Nomzamo Mbatha plays Mirembe. And yeah, she catches his eye. And then we're basically back 33 years ago when Dad wants him to marry the picked out bride for political reasons, and he wants to have his love match.
And it does take Akeem about an hour and a half into this movie before he realizes the parallels of, oh, this is exactly what happened to me.
That's weird. I felt this way too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, these people. It takes them a while to catch up.
Yeah.
We have been shouting this since the beginning.
Well, just like you were shouting, this rule is stupid. Why doesn't Akeem change it that you can't have a female ruler?
Yeah.
Well, guess what's going to happen at the end of the movie?
Yes, and thankfully, I don't know why his daughters weren't a little more vocal about that. But, I mean, they were just nice young ladies who quietly went about saving the whole kingdom while Dad was away in America.
Yeah.
Doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, his eldest daughter, Mika, Akeem spelled backwards, Mika, played by Kiki Layne, is, pretty worthy.
Absolutely.
Herself. She never complains when bastard son Lavelle just shows up out of nowhere and is going to take everything she has devoted her whole life to. No complaint. Nothing. But, she also has to do the hard work of making everything okay because her dad and her brother are still not that good. They're futzing around in Queens again.
Yeah.
Leaving her to do everything.
Yeah, multiple trips over to New York this time.
Yes, multiple trips, that's true. So, did you like this movie?
It's okay. It's better than I expected it to be honest.
Okay.
It's actually, having watched them sort of back to back, it's pretty much the same movie. It's not worse than the first one, I don't think.
Okay.
It's the same.
It is the same. They, do the same easy jokes about the royal bathers and all of that
But
stuff.
as you pointed out, it's actually, they've clued in that
Yes.
we're not going to watch an 8-minute long dance sequence to introduce a character like is in the first movie. We can't tolerate that anymore.
No.
So they did
we don't
edit.
have to.
No, so they edited out the much better musical numbers this time, and it felt good to just move on to the
Jazzed
next
it right
thing.
along.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So, in addition to this pretty stacked cast I've already mentioned, they did find ways to bring back so many people from the first movie, including Louie Anderson and John Amos.
Yeah.
We've also got Morgan Freeman on deck, Trevor Noah, Colin Jost, who Sean really liked seeing because he was a relative of the Duke brothers.
The Duke brothers from Trading Places, who are also, they make a cameo in the first Coming to America. So this is, I believe, their grandson, who now has control of the company, and he's just as racist as the rest of his family, and it's a good scene.
It is a good scene, yes. We've also got, in Vogue, Salt and Pepa, Gladys Knight, John Legend, blink and you'll miss him, Rick Ross.
I did.
Not blink and you'll miss him, but he has a very small role. The reason he has a role at all is because this movie was almost entirely shot at his house. Yeah, it is an African nation shot in Georgia. Rick Ross lives in Georgia, has a home so palatial.
That it's a palace.
And let me just say, not just the interiors, the outside as well is his estate.
Oh, that's funny.
Rick Ross, y'all.
Way to go.
So, and when they were filming in a Georgia studio, of course, the Tyler Perry Studios, which are there, Bad Boys for Life was shooting in an adjacent lot. So, two old school sequels are shooting. So, of course, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence came over to the set to say hello and take their pictures because, I mean, that's kind of an iconic. Yeah. So, yeah, Rick Ross, it's his house. They hardly had to do anything. This is ridiculous.
That really does fit.
I'm glad you think so. So Craig Brewer is on deck here. He is directing this. He directed Eddie Murphy somewhat recently in Dolomite Is My Name. That's on Netflix. And Eddie Murphy thought he did such a good job, he immediately offered him this one as well. And I do think it was a good fit. Yep. Like Sean said, there are improvements. I hate to say that because I know the first one is kind of a classic and definitely it has its fans. But it's not a classic or something special to me. So having watched them back to back, I preferred this sequel because it does have a more modern feel. It's not as draggy. It has a better pace, better editing. Lots of the same jokes. If you like the jokes in the first, don't you worry.
It's all coming back.
The pedal throwers are still there. Yeah. It is all coming back.
It is it's a fan service.
Fan service
for better or worse.
Yes.
If you like the first one, I think you are going to enjoy this one. Is it going to blow you away? No.
No.
Is it going to be anything new? No. But it's a way to visit all of these characters, and they literally all are back, which is pretty cool.
Except the Queen.
Except the Queen.
She died in the 90s.
Yeah.
Sorry. Eddie Murphy's daughter Bella stars as his middle daughter in the film. So she is also much younger than Coming to America.
Yes.
It predates her by quite a lot. So it must be funny for her to be on the set with all of these people. Yep. I'm sure she's seen the movie, even though she's probably not even old enough to watch the movie yet.
Yeah, but
if you're going to be in it, you got to,
Yeah.
But yes, tons of people, lots of great performances. King Joffer knows how to throw a funeral, let's just say.
Oh, he does, yeah. Star-studded.
Yes. So, I mean, it has its moments. It's funny. I know when they were writing the script, Eddie Murphy really wanted Tracy Morgan to come on board because he just thinks he's funny. And he wanted Tracy Morgan to play his son. And it was Arsenio Hall who was like, you guys are the same age.
Yeah.
That doesn't you can't do that.
Sense.
Don't do that. And Eddie Murphy was just like, we'll make it work. He just wanted Tracy Morgan on board. Well, we got our Tracy Morgan, and he can only be Tracy Morgan.
He can only be Tracy Morgan. It would be a mistake to ask him to do anything else because it is so great.
Yes. I liked Wesley Snipes in this too. Yeah. He really is like this general has a little hip hop in him. He's got a little flair in him.
He does.
His army uniform is often bedazzled. He's got a little hop skip in his step. He some moves, knows how to make an entrance.
He does. All are true.
Yes. Apparently that character was in the first movie too, although he has since been promoted to general.
Okay.
Of course, not played by Wesley Snipes in the first movie. So you know what? I'm not usually the most excited person to see Wesley Snipes pop up somewhere, but I thought he was really good in this. He really went for broke, I thought, with this role.
Absolutely, he did.
Also going for broke, I have to say, Arsenio Hall, I don't know what he's been up to. I don't care what he's been up to, but he's funny. And I kind of forgot that about him. Like, he seems to just be sort of a 90s relic. Joke. But yes, a relic is a good word. But also like a thing that was trendy in the 90s and belongs in the 90s. And so
it was
weird.
Very 90s, that show.
Yes, it was.
You could not do that today.
No, and it couldn't age. No. So it had to die and stay in the 90s.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny to see him and be like, oh, he's actually good. And he's not just like a talk show host. And he and Eddie Murphy both play multiple roles.
As they did in the first. They play basically the same roles that they did in the first one.
Because all those people are still there.
Around. I mean, they're still alive. Only because they were played by 25-year-olds at the time.
Sure.
The whole barbershop guys. Mm-hmm. They look exactly the same.
I mean, some of them look a little worse for the wear,
true.
But
that might just be like the better camera technology.
Yes. Anyways, I agree that this movie is better than expected. Definitely worth a laugh. You don't need to rush to see it, and I think it's probably a good idea to rewatch the first one.
Rewatch the first one, I think. Yeah.
Certainly, there was stuff that I would not have gotten, especially early in the second movie. There's stuff I probably wouldn't have picked up on had I not just seen it and been refreshed. So you can make it a double header. Of course, we did not find the first one on Amazon Prime Video.
No, except that I think it's now there.
Okay, interesting.
It should be there. Anyway,
Well,
we found it on Netflix.
It should be there, yes. We had to go rooting around for this.
Yeah.
It seemed like an oversight, but okay. Well, I hope it's there now. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's cute. It is big time fan service. You can tell that Eddie Murphy was just a fan of this movie and of the people he made it with, because he, to get everybody back, that's something. He really wrote the movie so that everyone could come back.
Yes, he did.
So I'm sure whatever Ryan Coogler was pitching was excellent and was potentially much better
Probably
than
much better, yeah.
knowing Ryan Coogler. But I think Eddie Murphy probably, as a fan of his own work and a fan of these people, I can understand why he wanted to make this one instead. Yeah. So Amazon Prime Video is streaming it right now. You've already paid your monthly fee, so it's free to you. Might as well give it a watch.
Might as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're in need of comedies.
Yeah.
And this is not the best one, but it's far from the worst.
It's a watchable movie. And it is.
And that is more than we thought it was going to be. So, pleasant surprise from Eddie Murphy and the whole game in Zamunda / Wakanda. The Black Panther cast actually threw a birthday party for like Lupita Nyong'o, Daniel Kaluuya. There's a bunch that had a birthday all at once. And the theme was Wakandans in Zamunda. So they clearly, Ryan Coogler has been a fan of, yes, that's right. So I think when you watch this movie, definitely keep an eye out for those references. A couple of Lion King references in there also.
Well, why not?
Well, I definitely, in the first one, I was like, oh, this is funny, the parallels.
Yeah.
But it hadn't happened yet. Which is also weird that it exists in a world pre-Mufasa.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's old. Anyways, Coming to America, #2, the sequel.
The sequel, yeah.
33 years later. And they still got it.
Yeah. Now the trilogy will have to be completed sometime in the next 33 more years, I guess.
Oh boy, okay. Well, set your watch.
Yeah.
Wind it well.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.